Holy crap, kid. Take a break.
Yeah, this is your world, bro. I don't even know if I'm living in it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, welcome back to this week's episode of the Blue Collars podcast presented by Sim Outdoors. Got Jordan and Zach with us on the podcast tonight. What's up, fellas? How are y'all?
Good, my man. How are you doing?
Hey.
We're here.
Oh, my God. It's been a week, dudes. It's been a long week. I feel like every single one of us has had a crazy last 7 days.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take some time tonight. We've had some ups, we've had some downs, we've had some spin it all arounds, and it's been kind of crazy, man. We've all of us have been hunting. Some of us have been really successful. Some of us have been not so successful, and some of us are right in the middle of that. So,
Yeah.
Corey, to tell you on this week's episode, the one half of our power couple, Mr. Zach here, he had some success early in the week. Zach, tell us about your little Bambi that you shot the other day.
No, that was a big old nanny. Big old nanny. That was the biggest doe I think I've ever shot in my
Really?
life. She's big. She's a big old girl.
Walk us through how it happened. Like, what? Tell us the whole. I want to know all the details. We didn't even got the chance to talk about it ourselves yet.
So
Yeah, like how many acres you on? You sitting in a box blind, stand? Like what's the story? Wake up and go.
This tree stand, it sets about 15 foot off the ground, roughly. And this is to help you judge the size of this evergreen tree that I'm in. It is the biggest cedar tree that I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, it is huge. It's bigger than the one that they've got in that sightseer place in New York City that they always decorate every Christmas. I don't even know where that's called or what. I'm not.
Rockefeller, because I was just there.
Yeah, that place.
Yep.
Yeah, this cedar tree makes that thing look like it was, it's a baby. It's huge. It's awesome. I love cedar tree hides. They're great for cover scent. They're incredible hide in general. Like, no matter if you're deer hunting, duck hunting, doesn't
Absolutely.
matter. Like, they are legit. Love them. So I went to this spot with the intent of seeing bucks because traditionally this is a bucky spot. And to even backtrack even more, we're hunting with a good friend of mine. We're hunting on his property this year with him. So this is nothing of Jay theorized. We're just kind of going off of what he's kind of filled us in on the property. I grew up hunting there, but I haven't hunted there in so long. So much has changed since then. So anyways, I'm in a cedar tree, and I'm with the intent of at least getting some kind of info or intel of what we're working with on this property, like on this specific spot, as far as like bucks, does, where are they coming out of, what are they feeding on, what do they like, what do they not like. It was a cool morning. It was probably, I think it was like upper 40s, low 50s, but there's no wind, so nothing moved until like 8:30. Like, there wasn't even squirrels out, armadillos, like your usual, the things that sound like a monster buck walking up ends up being a possum. Yeah, none of that. Like, not a bit of it, which was crazy. So, old girl steps out, surprises the heck out of me. I had no idea that she was even there because really the cedar tree, I just kind of have this one lane out. Like, I kind of have everything wrapped around here to my left, everything wrapped around to my right. It's kind of like a cocoon, if you will, for the people that are listening and can't see me flailing my arms around in midair. It's pretty hidden, and I have the camcorder set up in this tree stand with me because it's more or less like a frame built up. It's like it's just a box with a frame around it, and I'm just leaned up
Okay.
against the side. So I have the camcorder set up here, have my phone propped up in the tree on my face. So I had to press play on the camcorder, get it on her, zoom it in, get my phone started. She comes walking in and she is like half, like she's kind of quartering away.
Yeah.
And that's like my favorite shot of all time. I love a quartering away shot. I am so confident in that shot. I don't know why. I just am. So I got everything rolling. Everything's good. I'm shaking like a leaf. Like, guys, this is the third deer that I've killed in 9 years.
Oh wow.
So I'm amped, like shaking, like it's a 180-inch deer at 20 yards. It could have been same experience. Like, it was crazy. Well, anyways, I go to draw back, and I am about completely locked out, and my arrow falls off of my string. Like, it just comes off. And I was like, what is going on? Like, you could see it in the video. Like, I'm a full draw, that happens, and then she freaking turns her head and like stares into my soul. So I'm sitting here shaking still, full draw. Arrow is like slowly working its way out of my drop away rest. It's about to fall out, like be gone. Like, it's gonna fall to the ground, probably bump her. Well, she whips her head back around, looks dead away from me, and gives me enough time to like drop my bow real quick, grab the arrow before it falls to the ground. And then I freaking ram that thing in my string. I heard it click this time, so I'm guessing that's what I didn't do the first time. I didn't hear it click because I was trying to be quiet. That time I clicked. I didn't care. She's still looking dead away, but at this point, she's like quartering to me now. So I'm sitting here shaking like a leaf, freaking out. She's just milling around at 20 yards. Like, I could make a crazy shot, but I don't believe in that. Like, if she's gonna be there for a while and I have time, I'm gonna wait till she presents me with a good shot. So
Yeah.
2 or 3 minutes goes by. She finally steps forward, like gets perfectly broadside. I wait till her front leg steps forward where it just fully exposes everything, and I just gave her the beans. She went 40 yards, I think, and just balled up right there. Watched the whole thing. I mean, she didn't even go back. She didn't even make it into the trees. Just died.
No.
Wow.
So that was
Good.
That was freaking awesome. Like, it might as well have been 180-inch deer. I was so fired up.
Smacking a slick head, dude. Early season, getting that meat on the ground. That's awesome.
Can't beat it, man. That's like, especially when that first cold front comes in and you're sitting up there and you're like, you know what? You've only killed 3 deer in the last 9 years, and you're like, man, just gotta let one go. Gotta let one go.
That was number 3. Like, that was number 3 in the last 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
God,
So
that's crazy.
And I mean, I grew up. I mean, I would tag out if I could. I mean, granted,
Oh yeah.
I got to learn at an early age, like, what a big deer was, like big deer management, because we used to have a sick lease and then got ran off of it. It was kind of a sketchy, ugly, like, it was just not a good deal. I had an old lady slam the door in my face and told us to get lost. And I was, like I said, I think I was like 10 years old, 9 or 10. I was young. So, I mean, I got to know what a big deer was at a young age.
Right.
So, I mean, I say I tagged out. In Oklahoma, you can kill 2 bucks and 4 does. That's obviously dispersed out, 1 buck and 1 doe, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jordan, with a rifle, because I don't really hunt with a rifle at all.
Yeah, it's
Whenever
1
you're
buck.
hunting a rifle, 1 buck and 1 doe. Or is it 1 buck and 2 does? I'm so backwards right now.
You get 2 bucks in the state of Oklahoma. You could do archery, rifle, buck, and then 4 does, however you want, or all 6 does if you choose to. But 2 of them can be antlered. 2 of them can be antlered.
Jordan, how many? Like, what's it like over in Colorado? Like, as far as deer numbers go, how many can you kill there?
In Colorado is a draw state. You have to actually draw a tag to actually kill it.
Really? Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to draw the tag. And now that's true moving forward with elk. There's no more over-the-counter tags in 2025. You have to draw.
Really?
Everything. Yep.
Golly. Man, that's going to up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hunting industry's changing. Yeah, Oklahoma's changing too. It's $36 for residents, but we get all 6 tags now for that price instead of $20 a tag, is what it used to be. So $36, we get all tags, all 6. Now non-residents have to pay $500, and I believe that's each tag.
Good gracious.
Yeah, so they're starting to take care of their resident kind of like other states do. You know what I mean? It does suck. Like, it sucks for me. I can't go to Wyoming and just get a general tag. But if you live in the state and you're a resident, you can get a general tag. I think it's good that states take care of their own. I think it should be that way. I think your own should come first. So
that's a good point. That's a good point. So over here in Kentucky, like we're a one antler deer state. Like, I mean, they don't care if the antlers are this big or this big. You know, it's like you get one antlered buck, and I'm wanting to say it's 3 does now, is what we can shoot. But we do. So we've got several counties in Kentucky now that's got some programs where it's like Hunters for the Homeless and stuff like that, which are super, super great programs. Yes, man. I mean, it's being able to, you know, kind of thin out the deer population around here, which has gotten kind of outrageous in the last 10 years. But all of the while, you know, being able to provide a service, provide some meat, you know, some food to the people that are in need. So I think that's pretty neat. But I would personally like to see the doe tag number go up a little bit here in Kentucky, just because, I mean, on our farm right now, like I've been in kind of jumping off of Zach's story here, like I've been in kind of doe management mode in the last, you know, 3 or 4 weeks, trying to, you know, lead up into the rut, because our typical rut happens if we get a cold snap last week, October. That's when it's going to go down. I mean, every year never fails. I mean, it's that between right around Halloween, you know, in the first week of November. If we get a cold snap, like, you better be in the stand, because that's when they're going to start chasing. And on our farm alone, right outside my back door, I bet on camera we've had between 25 and 30 does every single day on camera. And I mean, obviously that's between, you know, yearling does all the way up into, you know, your age does and stuff, your big nanny does and everything. But it's been nuts, man. But the problem is, I haven't seen a single shooter buck on camera yet.
Yeah, too many deer.
Yeah, so and that's part of the reason why I've been hunting doe so heavy right now, is not only to fill the freezer up, but also because it's like I need to thin some of these turds out before, you know, season really comes in. You know, just to make it a little bit easier on some of these bigger bucks roaming around to find a spot to stay, you know. So
Yeah.
But I was hunting, I want to say it was last Monday or Tuesday night. And, of course, being a school teacher, you know, I only get afternoon hunts most, like, during the week, you know. And it was the field I was hunting. It's kind of big bottleneck field. But our whole farm back here's got alfalfa hay on it. So, I mean, the deer come in and they feed at night, and then they bed in the fields. Like, because we leave the alfalfa tall during the wintertime. We've been done cutting hay for 3 months now. I mean, it's one of those things. It's 16, 20 inches tall, so they've got plenty of areas to, you know, bed down out in the open fields or whatever. But I was just up there, you know, just cruising around. Does were coming out of the field. You know, I was just waiting for a shot, and it was getting dark, and I hadn't had anything close enough. But this one doe, she was probably, I'd say, a good 85, 90-pound doe. I mean, perfect freezer size, you know. And I was on TikTok Live, so I mean we had kind of a good audience for it, you know, at that time. But doe comes in, perfect broadside shot at like 30 yards, and I knew exactly, you know, where I needed to lock it in at, and she comes just perfect right there, and I let one go, and I heard it hit, and saw her run off, and I knew she was going towards the bean field, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a little bit. Got down right after dark. My older brother came out and helped try to, you know, look for blood, look for an arrow. Never found a drop. Never found an arrow. Nothing. Looked around the next day for blood, for arrows. Couldn't find it then. Put the drone up in the air and was, you know, scanning all the fields around and everything, trying to spot her. Never could find that doe. Ever. And it was like a sick feeling, because number one, I lost an arrow. But number two, I was like, crap, there's a doe running around either dead somewhere with an arrow stuck in her, or running around alive with an arrow stuck in her. And after of course I was, I got it all on video, but after going back and looking at the footage, and I mean you can tell plainly that I hit her, but I think I hit her, forward in her shoulder and stuff. I think I just stuck her shoulder blade or something, but I don't know. I hate that situation. Absolutely hate that.
That's the worst part of hunting, man. I don't think there's anything, I mean, other than losing your life out in the woods, but that's probably it, losing an animal or wounding an animal, it's a terrible feeling.
I know.
I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I hate to bring it up, but I kind of want to talk about it. A skyscraper, you're gonna have to tell the story.
So I got to relive the whole situation real quick, huh?
Hey, reliving it over it.
That's true. He's got a point.
Oh, I just cut out. I had to plug my phone in and charge it. I was gonna die there. All right. Can y'all hear me?
Oh yeah, you're good.
All right, so I got to relive this situation again, huh?
Right.
All right, so it was October 16th, so it was just like 6 days ago, and I wasn't expecting really to go hunting and do much. My corn feeder just kind of ran out, you know what I mean? So the deer had stopped coming in, so I had the bright idea just to go in there day one. First thing I get there, just put some corn out, a little bit of sugar on top, get some Big and J. The wind's blowing out of the north, so it's blowing right to them. I was like, they'll find out that, hey, there's food there in that one spot again, you know what I mean? So I didn't hunt that first day, left it alone, and got some deer coming in. Didn't see skyscraper at all that first night. But the next night I decided to go night hunt, be my first sit. And if I get in there, it's a little later than I wanted to. It's about 5 o'clock. I'm running late. And the neighbor, of course, we all know that story. I have an issue with the neighbors across the fence. And they saw me pull in and get into the stand and start hunting. So they decided to get on their four-wheelers and try to spook out all the deer through the thickets and just scare them away from the hunt. And so at that point, I'm kind of debating on getting out of the stand. But since I'm down there, he's got to leave and give up at some point, you know what I mean? And maybe something will happen, a little later. So I decided to stay, and I didn't want to get angry, you know what I mean? I came to the woods to enjoy the woods, you know what I mean? So I tried to stay humble as much as I could. So he finally left. I sat there getting pretty dark, and I have that big 3-year-old high tower come in. He's that nice, one that we've been showing. He comes in, he's there feeding for a while. So I'm just sitting there watching him. I filmed him for a while, not thinking anything of it. I turned off the camera, starting to get low light. So now I want to start looking at the clock on my phone. So, my phone's attached to the stand, sitting over the feeder where I can film.
Right.
Now I'm getting to the point where I want to see the clock. So I can't have my camera on. So I'm just touching the screen, looking at the clock, and all of a sudden I hear the neighbors behind me get home or something. They pull up, and I just hear a bunch of deer. They don't blow. So I knew it was something they were used to running from, but they weren't totally freaked out by it. But a bunch of deer came off the field behind me and just ran right past me, right underneath the stand, like 30 does. A few bucks, kind of meandered off. That 3-year-old ran off just a little bit. And about 5 minutes goes by, that 3-year-old comes back down and starts feeding again. So I was like, well, looks like I can't get out of the stand. So we'll just, keep sitting here until shooting lights up, And about that time I'm sitting there thinking that, I hear some more crunching behind me. I didn't think it was going to be a big buck, All of a sudden it's right on me to my left. It's about 5 yards away. I can tell, just tall, huge rack right off the bat. I knew it was skyscraper. I'm touching my phone. Oh, it's 7. It was like 7:18 is what it was. It was October 16th. Shooting official sunset was 6:52, and it's 30 minutes after that. So it was 7:22 would be last shooting light. So we're cutting it really close.
Yeah.
So I know I still got some time. So he's coming in. He's so close that I'm afraid to move, but he's coming through the tree I'm under. It's shedding its leaves, so it's crunching.
Yeah.
And I'm right underneath him, so his eyesight, where he's focused, is on front of him and the deer. And so I'm able to grab the bow real quick. I know I got time. I'm sitting there waiting. He's kind of getting out there, and now he's into where it's just dirt, kind of. So you can hear it's quiet night, so you can hear the bow, anything. So I knew that he was going to hear me, draw back. So I'm waiting to where he is perfectly turned, because I know as soon as I draw, he's going to, look, and it's now or then. You know what I mean? So he gets out there. He's finally quartered away just a little bit, about 10 yards, really close.
Yeah.
And my heart's pounding. I've hunted deer before. This one gave me the good shakes, the good deer fever. I've hunted elk, and it was like a bull elk like fever for me.
Wow.
I was shaking. It's been a while. He's such a good deer. It got to me, so it was heart pounding, and it was just such a shock. I wasn't ready for it. And he gets out there about 10 yards. He gets to that salt lick I got, and he's quartered away. You know what I mean? I'm like, I can make that happen. You know what I mean? He's going to look up here. So it's about 7:20 at this point. I got it on the mulch camera. I can probably show the pictures on the podcast here, but you can see him at 7:20 look up, and then at 7:20 again, there's another shot at just dirt. You know what I mean? So I'm 2 minutes before not being able to shoot legally. But I draw back. He looks up, and you can see it on camera. You could, the Moultrie cell cams I got. He looks up. You can tell we're locking eyes, and I'm sitting there just like, oh my gosh, I need to find it. And, I'm doing that whole shaking thing. Oh, dude, you better get it. He knows. He's making eye contact. Starting to panic a little bit.
Yep.
Starting to set in. I've been in that situation a lot, but I knew that it was now or never on that buck, because it's such a situation there on that property that, the deer are being messed with.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, this is it. And I'm drawn back, and he's looking, and I think I got it. And then and you just hear and it didn't get all the way through. So automatically I'm going, oh no, we're hitting bone. But how far do we get through? Do we get through the first one, and we're stuck in the second shoulder? But he's running off, and he's running hard. He barely jumps the barbed wire fence. He's on to the neighbor that I have a good relationship with. And you can hear him just crashing through the briar thicket. Just, I think the briar was going to throw him, slow him down. He was going to die there.
Yeah.
But sitting in that stand, I was worried about the shot because it didn't get all the way through. Every front shoulder, you know what I mean? Did I get into that back right shoulder? And we got through that first lung, and he may collapse on himself, fill up with blood, drowned. I'm not sure. So I just thought best thing to do would leave him sit overnight and just let him get comfortable and die, in 8 to 10 hours or however long it was going to take. Turns out we get out there next morning, walking around, got very little blood. I get a hold of the neighbor first, of course. So I go out there that night, get a hold of the neighbor, ask him, hey, I'm going to look in the morning. He said, okay, cool. He actually texted me that night at 7:34. He's got a picture of skyscraper moving through one of his tunnels, which is about another 300 yards away from my shot. So I did make the right choice by leaving and letting him sit overnight. But through the night, seeing him run that far, it's kind of like, oh, this is not looking good like I thought. He's already 300 yards away from where I shot him. Mm-hmm. So we didn't find any blood the next morning to where I originally had seen him run through. We go straight to that spot where he had seen him on camera. We found blood, and that's where we started our blood trail tracking from. And he was
calling a dog, didn't you?
Yeah, I had to call in a dog later that night, or later that next day, actually, because we looked all that day, didn't find nothing. He's zigzagging through the trees. I mean, at this point, I have personally tracked him 1,500 yards.
Wow.
I've got it on X Maps. So at this point, I know it's not good. I'm just hoping that he's very sickly, and I'm going to get him up out of bed and maybe get him somewhere, at this point, or he's dead. Maybe he ran so hard, but leaving it be. The next day, I call in a dog. And he does the same things, taking the same route, tracking, can't find him, whatever. So lost skyscraper, sick to my stomach. I don't know what's happened at this point, so now I have that in my brain of the unknown. Is he mortally wounded? Did he die? What happened to skyscraper? What happened to this legendary buck that I've been chasing? What did I do? You know what I mean? I've lost a big bull elk before. I've lost a few pigs, but I've never lost a deer. So this was kind of a new set in for me, and it happened to be such a monster deer too. So it was like, oh great, now I'm real sick. So now we're 7 days later today, but my buddy called me. I guess it would have been yesterday because I texted you, Zach, and said he was driving through that spot just looking to see if he could see any crows or whatever, the vultures. And he happened to see him on the corner property across the road. So this would have been northeast of where my stand is, all the way across the road, about 400 yards away from my spot from where I shot. Maybe even less than that, maybe about 300. So he went a whole 1,500 yards west and south, zigzagging through that guy's place, and finally wound up on the neighbors on the opposite side across the road. And he's just been chilling there, I guess. So what had happened, I guess my buddy, when he got eyes on him, I had hit that front left shoulder, shattered that front left shoulder to where he's just running on 3 legs. I don't think I got that front lung at all. So I think he's just running real sore on 3 legs. So I think he'll live. He might not be a giant next year. He'll be a little probably messed up. Or hopefully I'll get him later on in the season. I don't know. But as of right now, it's not looking too good. The property's shaped weird too. So like I'm on an L property too, and this big buck property is all this stuff. You know what I mean? I'm this L property, and I'm just butting up to that great buck property. And so he ran all through that stuff and then winded up being somewhere way over here on the opposite side of the road. So he's not far from my L, the tip. So I'm going to move some corn and see if I can't make a comfortable spot for him, put some water there, give him everything he needs to, rebuild his health. Maybe he'll come across and, maybe I'll get a second chance at this legendary buck. I don't know. So it's been a storm. It's been up and downs. I don't think I've slept. I've picked up drinking, smoking. It's been bad. It's been bad. So
I'll tell you, the night that you shot at him, Kenny and I were recording last week's podcast, and I'm telling you, man, we were all excited for you after you said that you'd let one go. And there at the end of the podcast, we were talking about it, and we were all pumped up. We're like, man, we're waiting on pictures call. And then we got the text, later that day that you were nervous about it, and the next day it was like, oh crap, what have I done, kind of thing. And but I feel like every hunter goes through this stage at some point in their career. The fact that you had so much time with that deer, not only prepping yourself but prepping him, and it all comes down to the luck of the draw, man. And that deer is insane. I will never argue that. Anybody,
he is stuck in my dreams.
Insane. Not to pour salt on an open wound, but he's working his way back. At least that's one thing you can look forward to is like he's getting back into his normal routine.
Yeah.
Those are creatures of habit to some degree.
He went right back to where he started his life out at as a young buck.
Yeah.
Because I got history with him from last year. He started out, and then he started getting big, and he was able to push into that area that I'm in now and push out some of the bigger bucks. And now he claimed it, but
yeah,
I don't know how scared he is to go back. So I'm going to move it a little closer and see if we can't give something comfortable to him. Because I stay out of that thicket right there. It's got like 10 or 12 does that stay in it. They bed there.
Yeah.
I don't mess with it. So it's kind of a small sanctuary close to the road. So maybe he'll use it. So we may continue the story of Skyscraper. I don't know. I'm crossing my hands there. Or fingers, I don't. It's got me messed up, man. I don't think I've slept. I can't think right. I can't speak right.
That's the funny thing about it, though. Well, they say legends never die.
Legends never die. I know he never will. You know what I mean? Like, I'll always have him in my mind. Even if I don't get him, this experience I've had with him, it'll always be with me for sure.
That's one of the cool things about Simply Hunt as a brand too, is the guys and girls that are on this team, we're not about only the killing. We're about the stories that it takes and the time that it takes and the work that it takes leading up to that shot or to that experience, I mean, the fact that you got a shot at that deer is insane because
Miracle.
because of the hours and days and months and years that you've worked and made sure they were comfortable and made sure they were fed and made sure they had water to drink and I mean everything that they needed. And that's the thing I think that a lot of people miss out on, especially in the deer world, is how much work that we do to make those animals comfortable,
Oh yeah.
animals healthy, and make sure that they're well fed. I mean, you talk about continuing a species and helping continue a species.
Yeah,
Like,
we're caring for them.
yeah,
I start building a relationship with these deer. You know what I mean? Like I named Skyscraper, so like I know he probably doesn't have the same relationship feelings about me, but I care for that deer, and he might not seem like it, but I think about him, and when I wounded him, it killed me. What is his quality of life moving forward? That is a concern for me. You know what I mean? Like I'm putting an arrow through this deer. Like if God created life and you're able to take it away as a human being, so I think it's a pretty big deal. And so to fail at doing it the proper way
yeah.
is a killer. You know what I mean? It really
I mean,
messed me up, and I just want to keep it real with everybody. A lot of people don't want to talk about this kind of stuff, but like it's real. I made a mistake. Don't want to talk about it, but I'm going to. I want everybody, like, it happens. I'm going to try to improve it and make it happen for sure.
yeah,
But I made a mistake, and I'm going to own up to it and do everything I can to redeem myself.
right.
But, hopefully the neighbor gets him. Somebody puts him out of his misery because, like I said, quality of life can't be fun.
Right. And that's a good thing about, especially you, Jordan, as a person, is like, not only, can you talk about it, throw it out there for like, hey, like it didn't go the way I wanted it to. And I wouldn't say necessarily that you made a mistake. It's just, sometimes the doe that I shot at the other day, no, it's not a monster buck like Skyscraper, but I mean, even like the same feeling you were feeling.
I think this way. Whatever can happen will happen eventually at some point. You know what I mean? It was going to happen to me at some point. It sucks. It happens to be on a giant buck that is just extremely beautiful. I mean, put together perfectly in my mind. But yeah, it sucks, but it's part of it. I just got to try to move on and do my part of hopefully getting on him.
Yeah.
And killing him.
No, that's the best way I could cover. I mean, you said it great, Zach. I mean, it really shows, number one, your dedication to the betterment of the industry, but also it shows a lot of good about yourself, Jordan. Just not only that it shows a lot of good that you're upset about it, but it also shows that you're willing to still fight for him. I mean, still do what you got to do to get on him. And
yeah, he deserves it. You know what I mean? You start building a relationship with these animals. You know what I mean? And he hadn't done nothing wrong. I did, so I owe it to him to make it right. I mean, that's just plain and simple. You know what I mean?
No,
Steve Rinelli does a great job, like, of connecting. He has a great movie that's out there on Netflix, Stars in the Sky. If you haven't seen it, you got to see it. Steve Rinelli does an awesome job on connecting to the hunter's heart or soul. It just makes you feel like I connect with that movie. Like, you got to check that out. That's awesome.
Definitely. Well, guys, I know tonight's been a night of sharing.
It's been everywhere.
Some good, some bad, but honestly, that's where this brand originated. I mean, simply get out and hunt. I mean, sometimes you're going to be successful. More than not, more times than not, you're going to be unsuccessful, and that's part of it. And that's honestly the times that I fail or the times that I screw up or times that I miss. Those are the times that make me kick myself in the butt and make me get back out there and do it all over again. Because it's all about. Kenny said it best last week, and I wish I could repeat it exactly how he said it. But he said, hunting when it comes to hunting, if you're not moving forward, I mean, ultimately you're going backwards. And if you're not continuing to grow, if you're not continuing to, improve yourself, improve your abilities, improve the game that we're hunting, I mean, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? We're moving backwards. So, but I really appreciate you guys sharing tonight. Jordan, I know it's not easy. Man.
No.
But I love you for sharing it. I mean, I think it's great to be able to kind of dive into that. Not only our winning stories, but also kind of our not winning. I won't call it losing stories because it's not over yet. But
That's right.
That still takes some time to put the cherry on top. So
Hopefully,
yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed. We'll keep praying for you, brother. Hopefully, one of these days he'll show back up on camera and those new Moultrie cameras that you got will catch him. So, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. Like I said, we'll say a little prayer for you tonight before we go to bed. But guys, I really appreciate you joining tonight.
appreciate it.
Everybody, make sure you check us out on Instagram, check us out on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, literally any social media outlet that you can think of. Chances are you'll find the Simply Hunt team sharing stories and sharing our journey in the outdoor industry. So looking forward to next week's episode. I think we're going to have JC talking about her big double beam buck kill this last week. So looking forward to. So if you want to join in next week, you know where to find us. Guys, I appreciate you. I love you to death. Dang good episode.
Appreciate you, man. You guys have a good one.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Later. Love you. Bye.